This is Rating Descending,
where we watch IMDb's Worst 250 so you don't have to.
My name is Abigail Ward.
And my name's Michelle St. Clair.
And tonight
there's a song underneath
we are watching Scary Movie
This
5.
sounds terrible. There's a song underneath this.
A couple begin to...
There's a limited time window.
A couple begin to experience some unusual activity after bringing their lost nieces and nephew home. With the help of home surveillance cameras, they learn they're being stalked by a nefarious demon. Let's watch. Some unusual activity.
You just can't.
After being and lost
You
nieces.
really do just have the spirit of singing inside of you. Song just cannot help but course its way out of your throat.
Put home surveillance.
Abby, why do you write? You should sing.
We'll start by nefarious damage.
You have a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
In the way that when I see something that is like a little strange, I'm like, oh, that's, I guess, beautiful. No, I joke to save my own feelings.
And she never sang again.
No, Abigail,
Was my one joy.
your voice is beautiful.
Hey man, how are you? Hello, how are you?
I'm tired. I'm
Yeah.
sleepy. You know, Abby, I feel like we used to do more audio bits.
Yeah.
I mean, all the bits we do are audio. This is, we used to have like, I could do this, and then we would put the dingling sounds of a what's that called? Those things. Chimes. If I said, hey, there's chimes here, I could put some chimes in.
Yeah.
It's been a while, I think, since we've indulged.
Oh.
Chimes here. There's some clapping over here.
There's a gunshot over there.
God.
Oh my god, there's a helicopter swooping. Oh
no!
There's a whole swarm of bees approaching.
Not the bees!
Oh my god! They've just been chopped up by the helicopter blades.
So now I gotta put in the sound of each bee getting slashed by a helicopter.
Oh my god, Michelle's farting.
Oh, come on.
Oh my god, she's still farting. She's flying away.
The helicopter is approaching!
Oh my god, she said the N-word.
No, I'm not putting that in. That didn't happen. It didn't happen.
She's doing blackface while she's at it.
No.
Oh my god,
Shut it down.
Michelle.
No, it's done. Abby, it's interesting that there's no audio bits anymore.
I'm just going to open this cabinet,
No.
pull out this set of cutlery.
Yeah.
I'm going to start
Tingle. Yeah.
sawing off a bit of bread,
Okay. Yeah.
and I'm going to feed it to my crow.
You're looking at me as if you were. Oh, do you want me to make the noises now?
No. I'm giving you fodder for post.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Giving you work is what I'm doing.
Yeah. Sure.
And then the crow's going to get eaten by the swarm of bees, which then get chopped up by the helicopter. Do it later, Michelle.
Yeah, no, I'll do it later. I'm like putting it in. This is temp. Temp of crow getting attacked by bees. There's just some temp for it. I'll fill that in later.
The beauty of this and of you as the editor is that you really could do whatever you wanted to anything I said. For instance, I could say something devastating right now.
Yeah.
And then you could place whatever sound effect you'd like on top of it.
Yeah,
I could say, well, my dad got hit by a car 2 weeks ago.
Fart noise.
Yeah. Why don't you take that opportunity?
You're so right. I am the one who is in control of this.
You are.
I could do that more often.
You could really, if you tried hard enough, you could really alter and manufacture the things I've said to be really horrible things. Not that I don't say horrible things anyway.
The one problem, though, what was the beginning of what you just said?
The problem with...
No. After that, you were like, if I try hard enough,
yeah,
that's not going to happen.
Oh, okay.
I try as hard as I can, and it's rarely enough.
Okay.
You
All
know?
right. Fair enough.
I don't know how much harder I have within me to try.
Okay.
You know?
You've exploited all the hard.
This podcast and the last few years of my career has been an exploration in how hard I can try, and I am reaching the upper limit.
Yes. I think you reached it about 2 years ago.
When I burnt out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite a hard upper limit on how hard I could try.
Yeah. I mean, following into my initial question, how are you?
I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm busy, Abigail. I was about to call you Michelle. I'm Michelle.
You're Michelle.
This is me in the morning. I'm like, I'm okay.
I'm Michelle. You're Abigail.
No.
Yeah.
You can't steal my identity.
Yes, I can.
I worked so hard for my identities.
Imagine if you just went home to Claude this afternoon and I stayed here and edited.
Oh my god. Oh my god. But wait, so Claude can tell that it's me, but I don't address it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You walk in and you just act like me, and he's like, "What's going on?"
So I
and you're
walk in and
"Are
I'm
you
like,
"Okay."
Hello, Claude. Hello. Where are my catties?
That's how I am.
That's
yeah.
you. Yeah.
My cats are like scrambling onto the bed to get away from you.
Scramble. Hello, come over here. Casserole. Beatrice.
I'll sit at your desk editing.
At the computer.
I'll drink a Dr. Pepper.
Nice. That's
I'll
classic.
probably eat a bag of chips at some point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'll look at my phone a lot, doom scrolling because I'm sad.
Yours was much more bleak. I thought we were doing comedic versions. And yours was just a bleak, accurate portrayal of my day-to-day.
I know how you live.
Yeah.
But that is what I do when I get home. You nailed it on you.
Oh, okay. So we were just both doing accurate portrayals. Hello. It's me, Abigail.
Listeners, do you think that Michelle has very successfully really skirted the question of how she's going? I think she has.
I'm listening to wait for the response. Oh, yes, I am. Oh, thank you, dear listeners. Thank you so much, dear listeners. Oh.
They think you've done it really well.
No, they're applauding. Shh, they're applauding right now. Oh, wow.
They're saying,
wow.
"We love Michelle."
Yeah, that's what they're chanting.
We love Michelle.
Yeah, they're chanting it, and they're still applauding. If you could see them, they're also standing up, but it's hard to put that in audio. I guess I'll put the sound of I'll record the sound of them all standing up right now.
I reckon every time I ask you how you're going, you can just put in the sound.
Wow. Yeah. Well, Abigail, how are you? Ba-ding!
It's like the sound when you make a payment on like one of those machines where it's like bing bing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm fab.
That's
I'm great.
That's good.
I'm living life to the fullest.
I'm having less belief in your veracity as each moment goes on.
You know when life is just lifing around, you know, it's just lifing along and nothing of note is really happening.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the beginning of this year, everything was happening.
Yeah.
And now I'm at a point where nothing is happening, which is great.
That's good. That's restful.
Yeah, it is restful.
Restorative,
for sure.
nourishing.
Yeah. Thank you for taking the time.
Supple upon the sucker of your life.
Put in some milk teething,
Sup upon.
suckling noises there.
That's you supping upon the suckle of life.
Yeah.
The suckle? A suckle. Is that a thing? No. You suckle upon. Well, I want you to sup upon it, though.
This week we watched... We watched Scary Movie 5.
That was pretty fair.
Because I don't know what was going on there.
All right, that's a good point. Yeah.
You hadn't seen this before, had you?
No, I hadn't.
Nor had I.
We talked briefly at the end of last week. So I first watched the first Scary Movie when I was 5, where I was on some sort of road trip with my mum. She was watching it in our motel room. I was 5 years old. I had to go under the covers. I was so scared because there's a guy that stabs people. That's scary.
It is.
So that meant but then a few years later, she was watching Scary Movie 2, which had Tim Curry. As a child, one of my favorite actors. So I stayed to watch it. I really enjoyed it. Had a great time. That's very funny. Very funny. And so I thought for a long time that Scary Movie 1 and 3 were the scary ones and 2 and 4 were their funny ones. And I thought that was the whole thing they did.
What?
They alternate between a legit... Well, because it's called Scary Movie. Of course it's going to be scary. Why would they name it that if it wasn't scary?
Have you rewatched 1 and 3?
No, but
Wow.
I know they're not scary. But...
Not at all. I thought 3 was fucking hilarious, despite the fact that it's Charlie Sheen. I thought he's kind of good in these stupid roles, and I feel like, he was good in Hot Shots as well for the same reason.
That's true. He was good in Hot Shots.
He was in the beginning of this one of Scary Movie 5 as himself. But in Scary Movie 3, he's playing a character, and he has a brother who ends up dating Cindy, and his brother is like meant to be the Joaquin Phoenix character from Signs.
Oh, sure.
Like they are the guys from Signs.
Sorry.
It's very Signs heavy.
He's meant to be Joaquin Phoenix, and you just looked at me like I was meant to know what that meant.
From Signs. But I thought like the send-up of Signs was good. I loved Signs as a kid.
Sure.
I fucking loved that film.
Hello, stop. Go. Roundabout.
Yep.
Wait.
Give way.
Give way.
Wait. What sign is that?
I guess that's giveaway. Hold a moment.
Hold up.
Wait, whoa, chill out. 40.
Yeah. But
60.
I feel like I don't know why Scary Movie tickled me so much as a kid, but it really did. I have a fondness for the Scary Movie franchise.
Those movies are also horny.
Yeah.
In a way that young like me on verge of puberty, but also wrong puberty, like lot of sexual dynamics that I just like went into my head of like, huh? Oh, this is doing something, but I don't know what it is. You know?
It was quite horny, for sure.
Very
when you were a
horny.
kid watching it, you were like, I can't believe I get to watch this.
It's like learning about horniness
yeah,
as well.
for sure. In Scary Movie 1, there's a bit where like Cindy's boyfriend is going to go down on her, and the whole idea is that like her vagina is disgusting though. They do that a lot where like a woman's vagina is actually gross.
There's a bit in the second one where Francis from Malcolm in the Middle like gets Cindy to give him a hand job, I think, and then he blasts so much cum that she's like splayed up against the wall.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
At least when I describe
I
it.
really liked Scary Movie 2.
I enjoyed it.
There's
it
that
a
bit where
lot.
she's driving to the haunted mansion and she's singing like, as we go on, we remember by Vitamin C. And then the woman stops and she's like, hey, shut the fuck up. And she's like, oh, okay. Terrible joke. But as a kid, I was like, fuck, I want to be a kid again. So many things delighted and awed me.
You can be delighted and awed. You just need to lose your sense of cringe, baby girl.
Don't you feel like as you get older, though, there are less things that just grab you? Like, sometimes I'm like, I've discovered everything I love. It's over.
But that's the cool thing about how they keep making new stuff.
Yeah.
There's more art, and then I can watch a new thing, and I'm like, whoa, this tickles me.
There is new art, but it comes out. It's like waiting for like new episodes of a TV show to drop. When instead, but otherwise you could binge the whole backlog. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like I've binged a whole backlog.
Sure,
I'm waiting for the drips.
There's
and
always other
drabs.
things, like when my friends last year started showing me Naruto, or earlier in this year when I saw Anatomy of a Fall, two equivalent works of art.
Don't get me wrong. I to be honest, I'm not even talking about movies. I think I'm honestly just thinking about music. It's very rare that something new comes out where I'm like, ooh, ow.
Awooga. Well, I think that's partly that the genres that you and I like are less popular these days, so it's harder
They're over.
it's harder to find new music that taps into the
That's
same
the thing. Even if you find new stuff, you're like, oh yeah, I can see what you're like getting your inspiration from, but the original was better.
Which I think is though why, you know, recently you and I went to go see Sleater Kinney, and the opening act was Body Type, a Sydney band, and I really enjoyed their stuff, so I bought their vinyl, I listened to it. I really like it because it is a new thing that is tapping into the specific sort of rocky, punky, but vibrant energy that I really like.
True.
I think you'd like it.
What Body Type?
Yeah.
I heard them.
Yeah, but you had to go to your car for a bit.
I did. I had to, when we were at the gig, I had to go move my car and I ended up going on like a 25-minute journy where I got stuck on all the one-way streets in the city and did almost like a whole city loop.
Yeah.
And then managed to get a really good spot by the end, but I really had to battle for it.
Yeah.
And I came back and I like as I was walking in, it was wrapping up and I came up to you and I was like, that was a great time.
Yeah. And then I was like, it was really good. And you were like, don't tell me that.
I heard I did. I heard the first 3 songs and I was like, this is great. But then I thought, I'll just pop out for 5 minutes to move my car. I missed all of it. Yeah. But yeah, Scary Movie 5, what were your first impressions?
I was relieved. I had gotten it confused with Scary Movie 4, and I thought we were entering in another one that I'd seen a whole bunch of times, and we weren't. So I was like, well, this is at least fresh and new. I hated this. I hated this front to back. I hated every minute of it. I really wish I was doing anything else every single moment I was watching it.
I liked this more than Dance Flick.
That's fucking insane to me.
It's fucking insane that you like Dance Flick more than this.
I didn't like Dance Flick. I gave it a 2.
Did you like it more than this?
Yes.
What? That's what I mean.
I liked it one more on the
list. Why are you getting your back up when you just went, yeah, I did though?
Well, because I thought you were going to say that I liked Dance Flick.
But you liked it more than this.
Well, yeah.
That's what I don't get.
I mean, yeah, it at least had 1 or 2 jokes that were jokes. And this, for me, didn't have like any of those.
I feel like there were a couple of jokes in this that made me laugh quite a lot.
I had one joke that made me laugh, and I feel like it's not even the joke they were trying to tell.
Okay, interesting.
Oh, actually, and one second joke that was really just like a good bit of performance.
Well, why don't I give you some key details and we can jump into it.
Yeah.
So this film came out in 2013. It had 3.5 stars when we locked the list and still does. It was directed by Malcolm D. Lee.
Okay.
and David Zucker.
Oh, one of the Zuckers.
Yeah, because I think
Wow.
he directed at least Scary Movie 4, if not Scary Movie 3 as well.
Sure.
But
Feels
he's
like
had a lot of involvement in the Scary Movie franchise.
They really cannibalized the Wayans turf.
Yeah, for sure. And it's got a pretty stacked cast in a sense, you know. Like you've got Ashley Tisdale as Jodie Sanders, and I will say I think that she's got really good comedic timing.
Yeah, I thought she
made
was
me laugh
funnier
a
than
lot.
Shoshana Bush.
For
in this,
sure.
like-
Simon Rex as Dan Sanders. He was funny.
He was funny. I will say Ashley Tisdale was great. I do think she is no Anna Faris
No,
when it comes to these movies.
not at all. Anna Faris really took it to a different level.
Yeah.
I would say. We've got Erica Ash as Kendra. We have Charlie Sheen as himself, Lindsay Lohan as herself. We've got Terry Crews as Martin, who was a boss to Dan.
Which meant he was returning, right?
Yeah.
As was, of course, Lindsay Lohan.
Yep. And Lindsay Lohan's been in, what, 3 things now? 4 things?
Let me double check. She was in I Know Who Killed Me and The Canyons.
Yeah,
So this is
okay.
her third appearance.
It had, Terry Crews. It had Heather Locklear. I don't know if you know her, but she played the mum.
I mostly know her because of a pun in Community where they have a pop and lockathon and then they make their group the Pop and Locklears.
Right. She was in Dynasty, and she was in
of course. Sure.
Melrose Place. So she was a real big TV actress. And then notably for me, she was in Uptown Girls as Dakota Fanning's mum.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I really liked her in that. Mac Miller was in this
Yeah,
as a
that
small
was
bit role.
surprising.
Sarah Hyland from Modern Family was in this.
Yeah.
Tyler Posey was in this. Bow Wow played one of the kids, Eric. Jerry O'Connell was Christian Grey.
Returning.
And he was a highlight for me. I actually think he's really funny.
I mean, he is really funny, and it was very funny to have a returning all-star from Kangaroo Jack playing a character who we've watched 4 times.
Yeah.
That's very funny for
and
this
then we've
list.
got Molly Shannon, who's always, I like watching
She
Molly
had
Shannon.
one of the few bits that made me laugh, but it's entirely reliant on her ability to do
Fully.
physical humor, and she is very funny.
But that's what I mean. Like, this film has a pretty stacked cast of good comedic actors.
Sure.
You've also got Snoop Dogg coming
Yeah.
in, who I enjoy watching. You've got Mike Tyson as himself, Usher as a janitor, which I was like, is that fucking Usher when he started dancing?
Yeah. This was the period where Mike Tyson kept appearing in movies just to sort of wander in as
Yeah.
a punchline, and it never made sense to me.
We've also got Kate Walsh in it, playing like the Inception wife.
Oh, yes.
And then
yeah.
we've got Kat Williams playing Blaine Folder, who was like the fraud psychic. So it's a pretty stacked cast of comedians and actors there. Also, the main films that were parodied in this were Paranormal Activity, Black
Oh, yeah.
Swan, obviously, Mama, which I had never heard of before
Never
I
heard of
watched this.
Mama.
That's why I was like, what the fuck is this Mama thing? And they based a lot of the film around the Mama satire.
Those 3 seem to be the main 3
Mm.
that they were doing.
And Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
The other ones parodied are Sinister, Inception, Ted, but Ted got cut.
Yeah, he mostly appeared in one bit eating out Ashley Tisdale.
Yeah. Evil Dead.
So
Yeah, no.
weird. It's a weird movie.
Evil Dead, Cabin in the Woods, Insidious, and The Help.
Yeah.
At least most of these are horror films. The only ones
Yeah.
that aren't are Inception and The Help.
But these movies
And
always
Planet of the Apes, really.
wander off. Yeah. Did I talk on the podcast about these damn 8 movies?
No.
Did I not?
No.
Okay, because honored friend of the podcast, Gaten Souza, recently showed me he's a big fan of these new ape movies.
Yeah.
And so he and I watched them because he wanted to show me Rise of the Planet of the Apes in particular. He was excited for the new one, for Kingdom.
Yeah.
And you know what?
What?
That movie fucks.
Really?
Rise, I think, is the weakest. The first 40 minutes of it is kind of trading on James Franco doing a believable performance, and it's kind of, but there's enough in there that you're into it. And then there's this midpoint that literally made me scream out loud. I was like, holy shit. And the back half, banger. And then the second one, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
Genuinely, that's a great movie.
Nice.
Moving, interesting. Toby Kebbell plays one of the apes as
should
well.
watch it.
You really should.
Yeah.
I think you'd really enjoy them.
Okay.
Does your PS5 have a disc drive?
Yeah.
Oh, then I can lend you the 4Ks.
Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to watch that.
Before you leave, I'll just lend them to
Oh,
you.
thanks. I'd love that. That sounds really good. I love a good action film and a good sci-fi or dystopian film.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Here's the overview for this film. Charlie Sheen and Lindsay Lohan have sex. Lindsay becomes possessed and Charlie is killed. Charlie's children go missing but are found months later and adopted by Charlie's brother Dan and Dan's wife Jody. In an attempt to bond with their new children, Jody auditions for a ballet performance, Swan Lake, and is given the lead. Paranormal activity begins in their home, and they eventually learn from the children that the attacks on their home are by Mama, their mother, who is under a curse and wants them back to sacrifice both herself and her children. They seek help from a psychic, Blaine Fulder, a complete fraud, and dream extractor Dom Kolb, who's the Inception lead character, who helps them understand that the solution to their problems lies in the mysterious Book of the Evil. When Mama takes the children to a cliff to sacrifice them, Jody fails to lift the curse with the book, but manages to knock the evil spirit into Jamarcus and DeAndre's pool, that's Snoop Dogg and his buddy, where a shark devours her. Realizing the love for her adopted children is all she needs, Jody gives the Swan Queen part to her best friend, Kendra. The end. That's the best I could do.
A lot of the dynamics were really similar to Dance Flick. She's a ballet dancer who also has a black best friend.
Yep.
So I'm surprised at how cohesive I managed to be while we were doing Dance Flick.
Fully.
Given that
the overlap is immense.
It's just 3 hours of these like scattered scenes of ballet dancers in parody movies. And I'm like, what is going on?
With the Wayans brothers kind of floating over the top of both of them somehow as well.
It felt like I was hallucinating.
Fully. It's very confusing to have these back to back.
It's what it felt like if I had taken a tab of acid and then just read through IMDb. Like just scattered dreams of parodies.
Fully.
Mashing together.
Genuinely, I think that some of the jokes really worked for me. I thought Jerry O'Connell as Christian Grey was really funny.
There really is no bigger all-star than Christian Grey on this list.
Truly.
Which I guess you could argue means there's no bigger all-star than Edward Cullen.
But I also thought
who even appeared last week.
The guy that played Dan, Ashley Tisdale's partner.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was really funny as well.
He was familiar in a way that I couldn't quite grasp it.
I should actually look up what he's been in. But he has this dynamic with their housekeeper, Maria, where she at one point reveals her love for him and starts kissing him. And then he starts kissing her back. And Ashley Tisdale walks in and she's like, what's going on in here? And then they're like, oh, nothing. And they need to leave. And she says to him, like, you remind me of my father. And when he's leaving, he's like, you also remind me of my father. And he kisses her goodbye. And like, it was just such a dumb, surreal bit that I was laughing. I thought it was funny.
It was silly. I'll just say up front, the two jokes that I had that I did enjoy. There were other things that made me feel whatever, but these were the two that I enjoyed. I guess apart from Molly Shannon just being a physical comedian goddess. One is right at the beginning after Charlie Sheen and gets killed and stuff. There's like text talking about the arrests and how Charlie's 3 kids are out. And it was like, the police came to find them and out of habit arrested Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah.
Felt like a joke at Lindsay Lohan's expense, but works really well as just a joke about the police.
I don't know if it was at her expense. I felt like it was more at the police's expense.
I mean, I'm saying I found the joke funny.
Yeah.
So either way, I'm like, that was pretty good.
I kind of liked the opening scene where they were having sex. And so it was just this really like Benny Hill
the yakety
kind of
sex.
Stupid, like over the top, like a horse gets into the bed with them and then a clown. And
I do think if you do that kind of joke, it needs to go as far as it did.
And it definitely went as far as it could.
And it had a good escalation. Like if it just went, they're generally fucking and then they bring the goat in and they bring in the little people and all that, then it's like whatever.
I think it just kept going and it started, I was like, this is dumb. This is dumb.
I liked when they were doing gymnastics. They like, the sheets go up to the roof and then they spin down. I was like, that's kind of fun.
No, it was very inventive, I thought. I thought they pushed it as far as they could. And then in the end, he's like, oh, get out of bed, Emilio. And it's just a cat.
They do a DVD release of this and it says very inventive Abigail Ward.
Very inventive. Oh, don't make me have like a reality check, okay? I'm getting through this one film at a time. Except for today.
The other joke that I did laugh, which was also just a performance bit more than a full joke, because the full joke of it was like whatever. It's where Dom Kolb is doing such a stupid parody name, is doing the Inception scene at the cafe and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you can dream of anything. And they start doing this revenge thing. And so
Is it the boobs?
Well, it's specifically, he looks at her tits, which are then huge, and then she goes and then like frowns at him to like make his tits big. What made me laugh was he then looks down, sees it, and he does this like sort of face.
He was really funny. I thought that was
funny.
really good. And then he was like, like they come out and she's like, what was that? And he's like, let's try again. And then they have the Christian Grey dream.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what was that about? And she's like, I don't know, tucking her book away.
It was just
and then
specifically the way that it was the revenge tits and then his
the fucking tits I thought were fucking hilarious. The way she goes, and then her angry face to go, and then she puts tits on him as well. It made me laugh. But then also because he's the Inception lead and he's teaching her how to like enter dreams. Yeah. They do the whole thing where like in Inception he's got the dead wife and the visions of her sitting on that ledge, and so they do it here with Kate Walsh as his wife. And there's this bit where she goes like, she ends up killing herself, like throwing herself off the ledge, and then the guy that plays Dom is just like, ew, and turns away, and it made me splutter. I was like,
he does a pretty good DiCaprio too.
Yeah, he looks so much like him.
Yeah, but like his line delivery as well.
I thought,
oh my god,
the bit with him was like a highlight. I really enjoyed the scenes with him, and like I thought that the way they were setting up Inception was actually quite funny.
Sure.
Yeah, despite the fact that it's not a horror film.
I think most of it I didn't care for, but I thought he was really funny, and he played off Ashley Tisdale, who is a comedic talent.
She is. Well. I think she's got a really good. I think she's always been incredibly funny, and I think I actually really liked her constant expressions of like confusion, and because the thing about Scary Movie, like with Cindy, is that these horrible things happen to her, she gets mistreated or someone says something fucked up, and she just has to kind of like take it and keep going, and I feel like Ashley Tisdale still did that pretty well as well.
Yeah, there's times where I feel a conflict on this podcast, right? Which is that we work in the industry, we're talking about bad movies, and it's like, I know how hard it is to make a movie. I've worked on things where people put their blood, sweat, and tears into it, and then the end result is not very good. Yeah. Right? And it's like, I know that everyone is still trying really hard, and sometimes it's a big swing, sometimes it's things out of your control, whatever. And so there's part of me that when we're talking about like this thing's a piece of shit, everybody worked on it, is bad, I'm like, it feels like this specific kind of like ungenerous bashing on colleagues. But,
yeah, fully.
But we also always go out of our way to highlight, like, we think these actors and actresses are very funny.
And to be honest, like, I'm not really bashing on this because I'm like, it's Scary Movie 5. I wasn't walking in expecting art. I was expecting to laugh.
They kind of made exactly what they were trying to make.
Fully. And to be fair, I actually did laugh. Was it like absolute, like, was it also like a pile of shit? Yes, but I did laugh at certain like parody moments. Also, there's a bit where Snoop and his friend are like in the cabin when they find the kids at the beginning.
Yeah.
And they both like keep pulling out guns and then dropping them and pulling out guns and dropping them and pulling out guns and dropping them, and then there's just a big pile of them.
Snoop has a long history of acting and stuff. I don't think I've ever seen Mac Miller act in anything else. I think he did fine.
Mac Miller was fine. Snoop, I enjoy.
Snoop is great. He's funny.
Remember
he's a funny
guy.
Like
that guy, he was in Starsky and Hutch. I really enjoyed.
Yeah, he was good in Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah, he's very charismatic as an actor. I enjoy Snoop a lot.
I always think about the killing the pony scene in Starsky and Hutch.
That is such a good bit.
It's a great bit. It's really it's
Vince
dark,
Vaughn
but it's very funny.
Is a good villain in Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah, there was a period where I would have described Vince Vaughn as funny, and that's crazy.
I always thought about that bit in Starsky and Hutch though, where like that. He's chatting to that like Chinese guy, and the guy's like, "You white people all look the same," and he's like, "That's so funny because we all think you guys look the same."
The way he gets excited about it is really good. Is really good.
Yeah, genuinely. But yes, this film. Back to this film. I was lighting up thinking about the comedic powerhouse of Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller, and now I'm returning to Scary Movie 5.
The almost mournful look on your face as you realize we had to stop talking about frat pack movie Starsky and Hutch and return to Scary Movie 5 was so funny.
I will also say there's this whole storyline that we haven't really touched on because it's so what the fuck, but Jodie's partner works with chimpanzees.
Oh, yeah,
and there's this chimp called Caesar that he tries to bring into the house, but then he thinks that Caesar is dangerous, so they try and kick him out. And in the end, Caesar gets taken in a fucking police car away. And there's a bit where Caesar yells out, like, "Idiot!" And then he turns into the van and he's like, "Wait, I can talk?" And I just thought, like, the continuation of that bit was kind of funny, where it felt like two people were taking a bit as far as they could again.
Yeah.
And then when the driver's like, "Hey, Caesar," and he takes off his mask and it's another chimp, I was like, this is so silly, but okay, I'm enjoying it.
You know what? You know what it is? So, like, video games, I'm going with somewhere with this. Video games, when you're a kid, used to be like these sparse things. And in part, developers realized that they were trading on the way that kids would talk on the playground and sort of solve puzzles together, right? Pokemon became famous for this when it started to add more and more complicated puzzles later. You're meant to go on and share about it. Now people do that on the internet. Famous examples be the From Software games like Elden Ring or Dark Souls. Some of the more like fiddly bits, you're meant to talk with the community. You know, you share these things. And that's part of the experience. You could argue that these movies are written as a series of sketches, to which I'd say, yeah, but as isolated sketches, they wouldn't be very funny. These jokes are always funnier when we describe them.
Yeah.
They feel like they're written as an idea that was funny in the room, and they're written so that you tell your friend about it while giggling about it, and then they go watch it. Like it's written, it almost feels like it's made for that experience more than actually sitting down and watching it.
Yeah.
Because you're right, that's funny. I didn't think it was particularly... I didn't care for it when I was watching it.
Yeah.
Because I was already frustrated and bored. But when you said that, I'm like, that is a funny bit.
It is. And I think it was another bit where it made me think, yeah, that's a bit Michelle and I would like do, where we're trying to see how far we can keep going with a bit. Because what we do is that I feel like you and I like to take a bit and then we like to do a weird left turn. And then we'll push that as far as we can and do another weird left turn. Yeah. And I feel like sometimes it would do that in this. And I felt like they did that in 50 Shades of Black. It didn't feel like they ever did that in Dance Flick. And that's my problem.
I think in Dance Flick they did. It just was so incongruent that it didn't feel like a left turn so much as just a full sequence break.
But I feel like I have this feeling, this is how I interpret it at least, and why I liked one but not the other, is that in this, I feel like there were a team of writers being like, this would be so fucking dumb and so silly. Let's just do it. Whereas I feel like with Dance Flick, it was kind of being like, how silly is this? She's pregnant, and then when she's dancing, a baby comes out of her, and the baby, you know, like pulls a pose when he comes out of her. And I'm like, it just doesn't feel like there's the same self-aware team behind it.
I mean, this movie has like 3 scenes that involve chucking babies. It's obsessed
there's a lot
with
of baby
chucking babies.
Naming. To be fair, some of the baby injuring scenes were kind of funny. There's a bit where she's holding up the baby and she's just like, what's that smell? And like the top of the baby's head is like on fire.
Oh yeah.
Look, they were okay.
The guy swings around with a fire extinguisher and it just blows the little girl away. That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
I did like that one of the little girls was just sort of a dog, and they just go, okay, I guess we'll just deal with it.
But then
like
at
this.
the end, she's like, hey, your child's not a dog. Come here, girl. Good girl.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there was a point where I think the dog girl and the other girl were like both talking over each other to try and talk to the dad about something, and then the dad is like, talk one at a time, and then turns to the dog girl, and the dog's like, rah, 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 rah. And he's like, okay, sure. And then that was amusing.
Yeah,
it was amusing.
for sure.
It was good.
See, when did my job on this podcast become defender of bad movies?
It's a self-appointed job. No one asked you to do that.
This whole thing is a self-appointed job, Michelle.
It's such a good
We don't have to be here.
It's such a good point. No,
if it weren't for the baby.
If it weren't for the baby.
And we hate baby injuring, actually. We hate watching that on film.
There's nothing that makes me more mad than seeing babies get hurt in a movie.
That's right. I have such a profound respect for all things baby.
If anything, when I saw that baby in the movie, I was like, I can't wait for it to tell me what to do.
Yes. I can't wait to follow its orders.
I can't wait to respect and admire that baby for as long as I live.
But let's be honest, I would never watch this film again.
Oh, yeah.
I never would. But I'd probably watch Scary Movie 1, 2, and 3 again. Not 4.
No,
I didn't like 4.
4's not very good.
4 sucked.
4's bad.
It's like War of the Worlds based, right?
Yeah,
like it's very... Yeah.
And it's got... I can never remember the name of the actor, but he's got a great smile. I can't remember his name, but he was also in Unreal, and then he was kind of part of why in the second season the show really went off the deep end. But he was also in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. That's right. I remember him in the desert scene in particular. Anyway, I've seen him in a couple of things. He's got a great smile. He's kind of funny, but he also, for me, has been the herald of things being a lot less funny.
Yeah.
A couple of times.
Yeah.
But he seems like a fun enough guy. Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know him. Maybe he cheats on his wife. But maybe he loves his wife.
Maybe he does.
Or maybe he's gay.
But also, to be fair, if he did cheat on his wife, piece of shit, but also probably not worth ruining his career over.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That's
it's
like why it's so fucking weird when people are like trying to get people get cancelled for like cheating on their wife. It's like you're actually kind of allowed to do that, and you shouldn't. But also, you're not committing some criminal act.
Yeah, it doesn't come with a
different
morality clause.
Yeah, fully. Like, that's what I didn't understand about John Mulaney. I feel like
we've talked about this.
Yeah, people tried to cancel him for leaving his wife, and it's like, sounds like he just had a drug addiction issue and needed needed to leave that marriage.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what an asshole. I'm like, I get it. His wife was cool. She was cool. She made lamps.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
She's a cool lady.
Do you want to hear some trivia?
Sure.
So, out of all the Scary Movies, this was the least financially successful entry in the Scary Movie series.
It doesn't surprise me.
However, it still wasn't that bad.
Oh, okay.
The budget was under 30 million.
Okay.
It made 80 million.
Whoa. Whoa.
So at least financially successful is still 80 million.
Yeah, that's heaps. That's almost triple.
But I'm actually shocked it did so well because I remember when it came out in 2013, I was like, as if anyone's going to go see that. Like, Scary Movie's done. Scary Movie 4 was so bad that why would I come back 7 years later to watch another installment?
Yeah.
But people did.
Okay.
People always surprise you.
Okay.
Anna Faris did not return for Scary Movie 5 due to her pregnancy.
Oh.
Other cast members from the previous films, such as Regina Hall, Kevin Hart, and Anthony Anderson, were offered roles but opted not to return.
This movie was aching for Regina Hall.
Oh, it was,
Begging
and that's why
for
they
Regina
I feel like Kendra was this like effort to sort of replace.
I know.
The Brenda character,
Which feels weird.
yeah, Brenda was so good though. You can't really beat Brenda.
Yeah, you can't beat Brenda.
I always remember in Scary Movie 3 where she's like, Cindy, this bitch is crawling out of your TV. Oh no, your TV's leaking. And it's just the girl from The Ring coming out.
I will say, I did like that the Ashley Tisdale's character and Kendra, I do like that they fuck. If not just because these movies are historically outrageously conservative.
Yeah.
And the movie wasn't just going like, it was kind of, because it was just doing Black Swan.
But it
was
didn't
kind
make
of like
a big deal about it
Yeah.
either. She wasn't being like, oh my God, am I gay? She was just being like, I've never been that wet. Where were you this morning?
Yeah.
This is kind of sad. Lindsay Lohan refused to kiss Charlie Sheen during filming due to his somewhat erratic behavior. A body double was used instead.
I get it.
I wouldn't kiss him either.
Yeah.
I get it, girl.
I mean, Lindsay Lohan was cast to fuck Charlie Sheen. So deeply weird already on a number of levels.
Although a parody, I find this really interesting. Although a parody, Jerry O'Connell is technically the first actor to ever play Christian Grey on 50 Shades of Grey, since the film adaptation was not in production at the time.
Wait, no, really?
This came out before the first 50 Shades of Grey movie. So he's technically the first Christian Grey. He beat Jamie Dornan.
So wait, so when he was in this, he is literary character Christian Grey.
Yeah.
I don't know why that tickles me so much. Well, we should say then we've watched Jamie Dornan parody Jerry O'Connell's.
Exactly. Which is exactly. Marissa Sachs, who plays Amy. Who is Amy? I've already forgotten.
She was in it.
Maybe one of the kids, who knows, is the great niece of Leslie Nielsen.
Ah.
Nielsen played the president of the United States in Scary Movie 3 and Scary Movie 4.
Yeah.
This was the only movie in the Scary Movie series to not be filmed in Vancouver. Guess they didn't need the tax breaks anymore.
The tax credits were probably cheaper somewhere else.
Yeah. At around 1 hour, I noticed this because I was like, why the fuck in the last scene are there a bunch of like cheese heads? You know how there's like all those guys with cheese heads on swarming? You clearly don't.
What?
There are guys with cheese hats on. They're called cheese heads, and they're Wisconsin Packers fans, like football fans in America.
What scene was this?
At the end.
What else is going on in the scene?
Everyone's celebrating something, maybe after the ballet. I can't remember.
Okay.
But there's a bunch of football fans.
Sure.
And I remember thinking, why are there Packers fans? There must be a reason that they've got cheese heads there. And apparently both the director and writer David Zucker and the sound mixer Chris Durfee are the Green Bay Packers fans in the film because they're Green Bay Packers fans in real life.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Did it say Green Bay Packers on it?
They were wearing Green Bay Packers
Did it say that on it?
On what?
On the shirts.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was really impressed that you were like, they're from Wisconsin.
Oh, no.
Well, look at these Packers fans.
Well, I
was like,
did
whoa.
recognize the cheese hats immediately.
Whoa.
I don't know why I do, but I do.
I'm saying I'm genuinely impressed.
Thanks. So I don't follow the American football, but if I did, I think I'd be a Packers fan as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Big cheesehead?
Big Wisconsin girl.
Big Wisconsin girly.
Unlike the previous Scary Movie films, this is the only one that has a happy ending, with the only actual deaths being Charlie Sheen, the teenagers at the cabin, and Mama.
That's a good point,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't that gory.
No, it wasn't. I mean, they're never that gory, but they do normally have a higher body count.
They do.
Because of what they're parodying.
I think you'll be interested to know, Michelle, that a sixth scary movie was announced in April 2024.
No.
And
really?
it's currently in development.
No. What I hope to God is that we finish this list before it comes out.
Well, I mean, the list is locked.
I know, but I would feel obligated to do a bonus.
In 2022, though, Anna Faris and Regina Hall had expressed interest in returning for Scary Movie 6 for the right paycheck. In 2023,
Appreciate the
Marlon
transparency.
Wayans expressed interest in his return to the franchise.
No
as
fucking
well.
way. No fucking way.
I need to get away from Marlon Wayans. Like, we can't escape him. We're at this point in the podcast where, like, everything is somehow tied to Marlon Wayans.
He's the Kevin Bacon of this. I'm 2 Marlon Wayans away.
And here's my last piece of trivia. Not screened for critics.
Yes! It's been so long.
I know.
Yes!
Do you want to hear some reviews?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Reviews!
On Rotten Tomatoes, this film has a 4% approval rating. The site's critical consensus states, juvenile even by scary movie standards, the fifth installment offers stale pop culture gags that generate few laughs. Joe Newmeyer of the New York Daily News gave the film 1 star, saying, like so much of the whole series, hatched in 2000 by the Wayans brothers and intermittently directed by Airplane veteran David Zucker, though newcomer Malcolm D. Lee takes over here, the mere mention of a familiar pop culture figure or title is supposed to be hilarious.
Yes!
It often isn't, and in fact, the constant name-dropping and gross-out humor gets tiresome in a movie that's at least 10 minutes too long. Luckily, folks like Snoop Dogg and good sports like Sheen and Yes Lohan break up the monotony. Unlike a dead undead beastie, the boredom and dumb jokes come roaring back.
Okay. I actually think that's a pretty good summary.
Yeah.
It's like, this is pretty bad. The jokes are normally like, remember this? But those guys are pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Rafa Guzman of Newsday felt that even the talented people, comedian Cat Williams as a fake psychic, I thought he was really good as the fake psychic.
I don't know why I can't really remember him. He didn't stick with me.
Oh, he was so funny. He was like paying off his ex-wife, and there's a bit where like they pay him and his money immediately leaves his bank account so he can pay it off to his wife. Did you see that?
Oh, yes!
His timing is so good.
Yes!
His
Now I remember
timing was
him.
exceptional.
He
I
was
thought
really
he was
funny.
fucking hilarious
He was
in
good.
that scene. He was a highlight.
Yeah.
Comedian Cat Williams as a fake psychic, high-energy actor Jerry O'Connell in a send-up of the 50 Shades of Grey books, gets chewed up and spit out by this relentless anti-laugh machine. Scary Movie 5 doesn't even have the imagination for a worthwhile gross-out joke. When the best you can offer is a poopy toothbrush, it's time to pack it in. That's true. There was a poopy toothbrush.
It was a poopy toothbrush.
Frank Scheck of The Hollywood Reporter said that the filmmaker's desperation is evident from the fact that a good chunk of the running time is devoted to spoofing the recent Jessica Chastain starer, Mama. While that film was indeed a sleeper hit, it hardly seems memorable enough to warrant such sustained treatment, and indeed the comic payoffs are nil. Which is true. It's like, no one knows that film. So no one's really enjoying the references. I haven't seen Mama. You hadn't seen Mama.
No, I hadn't seen
So I was like, what the fuck is
I didn't
Mama?
even remember Mama.
No. It's an Argentinian horror film.
Is it?
So it's a bit obscure.
Like
Yeah.
Jessica Chastain was in it?
Yeah. Well, it was financed by Guillermo del Toro. So it had a lot of
Oh,
American finances,
sure,
but it was
okay.
by an Argentinian director.
Okay.
I think it might have been shot there too.
It's fun.
Here is an IMDb review left by Simon Kelisidis. It's a 10 out of 10 review called "This is Actually Well Done." Warning, spoilers. People are saying that the movie was bad. What? This film was great. It's not the standard you'd expect to follow Argo to win Best Picture, but it's entertaining, and it's at least better than some romantic comedies that have been panned. Also, my cinema was filled with teens laughing their heads off, so it's our type of humor. The standout stars of the movie for me are Ashley Tisdale and Erica Ash. Other stars who dropped in to make a cameo that were good were Snoop Dogg. However, Snoop Dogg and Leonardo DiCaprio. So he fooled him. However, imagine thinking that was actually Leonardo DiCaprio.
I know. Well, it would have made him an all-star.
It would have.
Because of Critters 3.
Yeah. And Lindsay was okay. However, it didn't enjoy it. Even a hint of Charlie, last appearance in Scary Movie, wasn't enjoyable. However, the rest of the movie makes up for it. Definitely a fave of mine, despite Charlie. And will be for many, many years. 10 out of 10.
Hell yeah.
Here is a 10 out of 10 review left by Stephen Chase, 63504, called I Love This Entry of the Quintrilogy. Warning spoilers. This entry has an F-bomb, more violence, humor, language, and sexual images, including a drawing of someone's wiener. Lol and ruffle. 10 out of 10.
So dated.
I know.
Lol and ruffle.
And here's the last review left by Select AMD in 2013. It's a 7 out of 10 review called Disappointed But Still Like It. The like is in caps.
Okay.
Plot, 9 out of 10. Acting, 9 out of 10. Cast, 9 out of 10. Direct, 7 out of 10. Edit, 3 out of 10. Funny, 9 out of 10. These are my categories too. Edit, funny, direct. I feel like this plot is for Anna and Regina, but replaced by Ashley and Black Girl. Ashley is lovely, funny.
Sorry,
I know.
So startled by how transparent that was.
Replaced by Ashley and Black Girl.
Fuck.
And the Black Girl is in brackets for whatever reason.
Whoa.
Ashley is lovely, funny. I give 9 out of 10 for Ashley, Simon, Charlie, Lindsay, for every actors in this movie. Main plot is okay. I expect more laugh on Cabin in the Wood. Inception, but I disappointed. Opening scene I like in trailer more than in theatrical. If there will be Scary Movie 5.5, which recut and add more scenes, that will be another great Scary Movie in franchise. What? I don't like to see anybody hit kids. 7 out of 10. Hey, we said that earlier. We agree, boss baby.
Yeah. Do you think he still listens?
I don't know. I have no idea. I actually haven't seen him in a while. Have you?
Yeah.
Well, he's been staying out late.
Should we check on his office? Because it has smelt really bad recently.
Do you think that? Oh, it's just his poopies.
Oh, he does.
Yeah,
he does like to
He
poop
can't
in
wipe.
there. He doesn't. Yeah.
He just leaves his dirty nappies everywhere.
Okay.
It's okay. I don't think I'd bother him.
No, I wouldn't bother him.
Frankly, I'm kind of hoping something has happened.
Yeah, me too.
I know.
Me too.
Just to break us from this curse.
Yeah.
These chains.
But I think if something had happened, I think we'd feel it, wouldn't we? We'd feel some sort of magical effect.
Like our shackles would automatically just pop off, I would imagine.
Yeah, but...
So I guess he's just going poopy in his office and going out a lot.
Yeah. He's a busy guy.
He is.
We
love him.
And we love him. Wish I didn't abandon that kid. Was wrong about how evil he is. If you're new here.
Well, that was Select AMD's review, Michelle. What was your review? And how would you rate funny, direct, and act?
And edit.
And edit.
No, every time I do an assembly cut or a rough cut with the director, I'm like, well, the direct was 7 out of 10, but the funny was a 2.
Funny was only like 3 today.
If we can get funny up, then hopefully that'll bring edit with it. You know? Sometimes I hear these reviews as well, and I remember how phased we used to be by the gibberish that people would spout, and now it's not even a second
nature.
thing. Yeah, second nature.
Yeah.
It's a 2. It's also a 2.
Yeah.
It also resembled a movie, but just barely. And
Yeah.
I think that the 2 points comes entirely from Ashley Tisdale's comedic talent, Molly Shannon, comedic talent. Like, the people in it were funny. There's the guy who is the principal from Phil of the Future.
Yeah.
He's all right. He's all right.
You look so done.
I'm so tired. I hate doing these parody movies because, like, what do we even talk about? The plot? What plot? What happens in this movie?
You can only base it on the jokes, genuinely. It's not really about plot at the end of the day. It is about jokes.
This movie is like playing fucking movie Mad Libs. It's like watching a kaleidoscope of trying to do comedy parody of horror movies. I kind of come out of it feeling like I was hit in the head and I have been watching Twinkling Stars around my head, but instead it was Dance Flick and Scary Movie 5.
Yeah, they're very confusing. Well, what's your review, Michelle?
It's 2. My brain is leaking out of my eyes.
Okay, mine will be 2.5. I liked it more than you did, but not by much.
That's okay. I've transcended. That's okay now.
Hey, I think that's a really I could have given it higher. I could have gone higher.
You really shouldn't have.
Actually, a 3.
That's crazy. 3?
3.
Think about some of the things we've given 3s. You gave Taxi a 0.
I was in a bad mood that day, and I have since apologized for that move and actually admitted it deserved more. I was just in a really shit place. I did give Taxi a 0. I was so done. Oh man, did you guys have a good time listening to this? Because if so, you're going to love what I'm about to tell you. We are on social media.
Whoa.
You can find us on Twitter or X under Rate Descend Pod. You can find us on TikTok at Rating Descending, or you can email us at ratingdescending@gmail.com. As you know,
Wow.
get in touch.
Well, you can also find me on my own social media. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at michelle.stclair or on Letterboxd at mstclair. I'm done.
Or you can, I'm kidding.
Fuck you.
Or you can find us as well now on YouTube. We're at Rating Descending. Just look it up. If for some reason you listen to stuff on YouTube.
Look it up.
Look it up.
But, you've done all that. You're like, I love these crazy gals and the silly things they have to say. I want to show my support. Well, the best way to do that is to give us a review wherever you get your podcast, because you know what? It really makes a difference.
Well, that was Scary Movie 5. What are we watching next week, Michelle?
I'm excited for this one because next week we're watching The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Whoop, whoop,
Yes!
whoop.
My
I'm
time has
excited.
come.
Such a goodie, a cult classic.
Mr. Rodriguez's third appearance.
Yeah.
A movie that, again, I have watched maybe 30 to 40 times.
It is confusing that we've had 2 Robert Rodriguez films so close together, and then the weird similarities between Scary Movie 5 and Dance Flick.
As well as 2 Wayans parodies.
Exactly.
recently.
It's been very. There's a lot of overlap at the moment.
This podcast is becoming an Ouroboros. It is eating its own tail. It is just
like a human centipede, but in a circle.
Oh my god. It is a human centipede. Robert Rodriguez, Wayans family, scary movie, Wayans family, Rodriguez, Christian Grey.
Make it stop. See you next week.
See you then.
Bye.